Hello students, welcome to our health class. Today, we are going to discuss how poor environmental sanitation can negatively impact the health of an individual. What is sanitation? Sanitation is the process of keeping places clean and healthy, especially by providing a sewage system and a clean water supply. It is also the provision of facilities and services for the safe disposal of human urine and feces. Here are some key facts related to sanitation. In 2010, the UN General Assembly recognized access to safe and clean drinking water and sanitation as a human right and called for international efforts to help countries to provide safe, clean, accessible, and affordable drinking water and sanitation. According to the World Health Organization, over 600 million urbanites live in low-quality shelters or other areas plagued by overcrowding and inadequate provision of sanitation services. 2 billion people still do not have basic sanitation facilities such as toilets or latrines. Of these, 673 million still defecate in the open, for example in street gutters, behind bushes, or into open bodies of water. One type of sanitation is environmental sanitation. Interventions that reduce people's exposure to disease by providing a clean environment in which to live, with measures to break the cycle of disease. This usually includes hygienic management of human and animal excreta, solid waste, wastewater and stormwater, the control of disease vectors, and the provision of washing facilities for personal and domestic hygiene. Environmental sanitation involves both behaviors and facilities that work together to form a hygienic environment. On the other hand, poor sanitation refers to the absence of sanitation. It is when people who live in a particular setting don't have access to safe water, good sewage, and live in a dirty environment. There are many factors that cause poor sanitation. First is urbanization. Poor sanitation is one of the most accurate indicators of urban poverty and health problems. As people continue to migrate from rural areas to urban areas, new kinds of slums, the squatter and informal housing all around are rapidly expanding. Another cause is poverty. Poverty is one of the greatest challenges every government is facing. People living in informal settlements are characterized with extreme deprivation of basic human needs, especially service provision. Another is inadequate water supply. Lack of sufficient water supply has led to unofficial ways of accessing water services. This has in turn led to access of unhygienic water for the people, which exposes them to waterborne diseases. Next is inadequate planning. As population increase, more pressure is put on the capacity of urban cities to provide services to residents. High cost of housing, transport, healthcare, and sanitation have led to growth of slums and informal settlements, thus leading to acute drainage and sanitation problems. The poor drainage and sanitation system has contributed to the emergence of breeding sites for mosquitoes and flies. Another cause is poor governance. In all aspects of urban development, the role of local government is very important. If done poorly, it may not provide the services the people need. What does poor sanitation cause to our health? Poor sanitation is linked to transmission of diseases. Some 827,000 people in low and middle income countries die as a result of inadequate water, sanitation, and hygiene each year, representing 60% of total diarrheal deaths. Poor sanitation is believed to be the main cause in some 432,000 of these deaths. Poor sanitation reduces human well-being. social and economic development due to impacts such as anxiety and lost educational opportunities. Open defecation perpetuates a vicious cycle of disease and poverty. The countries where open defecation is most widespread have the highest number of deaths of children aged under 5 years, as well as the highest levels of malnutrition and poverty, and big disparities of wealth. Diseases linked to poor sanitation and hygiene have a significant impact on children's health and education, such as parasitic worm infection. These infections contribute to malnutrition because the parasites prevents the child's body from absorbing nutrients from the food that they eat. Long-term malnutrition retards children's physical and intellectual development. Children are frequently ill as a result of parasites and other infections, which leads to poor school attendance and performance. Furthermore, if the school attended by an infected child does not have good sanitation and hand-washing facilities, the infections are likely to spread to healthy children. Here are the health problems associated with poor sanitation and management of waste. First is shigellosis. This causes abdominal pains and diarrhea. Next is typhoid. It is mild to severe fever lasting from a few days to several weeks. Another is cholera. It is an infection of the intestines that can cause watery diarrhea, leading to dehydration. Next is diarrhea. It is the production of frequent watery feces that can lead to dehydration. Another is hepatitis A. It is an infection of the liver that can cause pain, diarrhea, and jaundice. Another is polio. It can cause temporary or permanent muscle weakness and sometimes death. Next is amoebiasis. It is an infection that can occur up to several years after exposure to the protozoa. It can cause mild to severe diarrhea and liver damage. Next is giardiasis. It is an infection of the small intestine. Another is ascariasis. It can lead to weight loss, malnutrition, and anemia. Next is hookworm infection. 2 species of nematodes that inhabit the small intestine, from where they suck blood, leading to anemia. Another is tapeworm infection, a worm that normally lives in the intestines, which can cause anemia and malnutrition. Next is schistosomiasis. It can lead to liver and kidney damage. Without improved sanitation, a facility that safely separates human waste from human contact, people have no choice but to use inadequate communal latrines or to practice open defecation. In the immediate environment, exposed fecal matter will be transferred back into people's food and water resources, helping to spread serious diseases. Beyond the community, the lack of effective waste disposal or sewage systems can contaminate ecosystems and contribute to disease pandemics. Here is a diagram showing how disease can pass from feces of an infected person, waste, poor personal hygiene, and food contaminated by rats to a new host. The new host could be any man, woman, or child who is not currently infected with the disease. It is easier to remember the ways germs travel by showing that they are all words beginning with the letter F. The first F is fluid. Infection from fluids usually involves drinking or cooking with water contaminated with fecal organisms. Another is the fingers pathway. A person ingests the organisms usually during eating. If they have come into contact with feces and have not washed their hands properly afterwards, this contact can occur from defecation, from cleaning a child's bottom, from touching dirty surfaces, or eating food prepared in an unhygienic manner. The next one is flies. Flies and cockroaches often thrive on excreta. If they land on food, they can transfer fecal matter that can be subsequently ingested by a person. And the last is field. Field or soil infection can occur by the ingestion of unwashed raw vegetables and fruit grown in soil contaminated with feces. Contaminated soil may be transported by feet or shoes for long distances. Infections can also be transmitted through dirty floors, perhaps if food is dropped on the floor and picked up and eaten. Here are some ways on how to prevent the spread of diseases. Always wash hands before and after using the toilet and handling food. Use clean water and soap if available. If not, use clean sand or ash. Use a toilet. This puts germs and worms out of contact with people. If there is no toilet, it is best to defecate far from sources of water, in a place where feces will not be touched by people or animals. Cover it with dirt to keep flies away. Use clean and safe methods of preparing and storing food. Wash fruits and vegetables or cook them well before eating them. Feed food scraps to animals or put them in a compost pile. Keep dishes clean after using them and make fly traps and cover food. Keep animals away from household food and community water sources. Protect water sources and use clean water for drinking and washing. Here is a diagram showing how sanitation, clean water supply, and proper hygiene stops the spread of diseases due to poor sanitation. From this lesson, we have learned that poor sanitation is a big threat to our life. Let us do our part to create a healthy and safe environment. Thank you so much and keep safe. See you again. Goodbye.